being able to have some success and really be, have some of these critics really like some of your music, and more importantly, the fans. I mean, how's been the fan reaction to some of the music that you've been putting out as of late?
Well, first of all, it's been a true honor because, as I've said before, I never was one of those kids in school who got merit for anything or got awards of any sort while in school. I wasn't good at math or chemistry or physics or any of those matters. I was just good at literature, and that was all. And I was, so when I started making music and I started getting some recognition for it, and people actually, first the people, because the audience is the most important part of it. The public and the people are who make or break an artist. So when they started liking it, at first it was friends and family, and then it was fans and friends and everyone. So when I started getting that sort of recognition, I started enjoying it more, and I started also enjoying the process of creating it more, because at first it was sort of for me to have an outlet and an escapism from my feelings, and then I started thinking about others, like what are other people going to feel like when they hear this, and how can I make it more general so that they can insert themselves into a song. And I remember reading in the Tony Bennett book when he was talking about I Left My Heart in San Francisco there. And I mentioned this book a lot in interviews because I was reading it for the past few weeks. And he says that the greatest songs, the greatest love songs, allow a space for people to insert themselves into the story. And so when I started creating that and seeing that it actually worked, and people could identify themselves more because they could insert their piece of the story within the song, it was the greatest feeling. I mean, it was the greatest feeling. And then the awards came for the Beat 100. The Beat 100 awards came, and I won a buttload of them, and the Best R&B Soul Song of the Year award too. And for me, that was the most validating part of my career. It was like, okay, you're good at this, and you should continue doing it. I was going to continue doing it anyways, but for me, if I had to summarize it in one word, that would be validation. Because I think that all artists are searching for validation in a sense, because, well, when you have an artistic feel, you don't really grow up believing that much in your art, because you expect someone to validate it for what it is, even though it shouldn't be that way. And, well, that's basically it for me, and I feel great right now. I was thinking about it right now, and like a few minutes before the interview began, and I was thinking it took me 10 years to actually be sitting here and having this talk with you. So I'm very, very proud of the work that I've done, and I'm prouder even that the people can relate and like it, and I do it for them. I get a lot of lovely letters messages from the people in social media telling me, the best that I've gotten is this guy who said I was going to kill myself today, and I didn't because I heard your song Cry, and I didn't. So thank you for that. And this was some guy from the Philippines, and this happened a few years back. But those are the kinds of things that keep me moving, and the things that I appreciate the most. I don't do it for the fame. I don't do it for the money. I just think that fame and money are just consequences of doing a passionate job at whatever it is that you do, right?
It is. I mean, it seemed like you had a really passion. I mean, to have written your first song at age 9, I mean, you said that literature seems to come naturally to you, and to be able to have the lyrical verse. I mean, everybody has a certain talent in them, and yours came out very, very early as well. I mean, how's it been for you as a songwriter to kind of develop from like age 9 to now? Obviously, experience has a lot to do with it. A lot of it deals with the things that you've learned along the way, the techniques that you have. How's it been for you to evolve as a songwriter?
Well, it's been a ride, and a really long one, because it's a good question, because I've never been asked this before, and yeah, there is it's been a long road. That would be like the main description of it, because when I first wrote a song back in 2006 probably, when I was, like 15 years old or something like that. I can't remember like the exact date, but I remember the exact song. It was How Can I Explain? And if I read it now and heard the demo now, it's a really terrible song. So it's been a long road because I've bettered myself in a lot of areas. But the main one is just freeing myself. Like, I think that the first song that any songwriter writes is a song that they expect to be perfect, and it isn't. It isn't ever really. And they expect it to be a commercial success, and they expect it to have all the values that it really doesn't have till you free yourself and just do whatever you want. And to me, doing whatever I want, but what I mean by that is saying what I need to say and doing exact melodies as I want to do them. Like, for the first years of my life, I always thought, I'm going to insert this bridge in a certain type of way, or I'm going to do this hook like this because it'll be more friendly, and then I started piecing songs that, if you hear them, they're good. They're from my debut album, the Mad Sexy album. But if you hear the new album, Irreplaceable Now, you hear the freedom of my inner me. I don't know how to say that. My inner self. Just doing whatever I want and doing the melody that I want, and the lyrics, and having the things that I really want to say within the songs make it so much powerful for me. So I think that reaching creative freedom from expectations to creative freedom, it's been a 10-year gap. So it's been a long road, but I now think that exactly because my songs are come from the heart and have substance in them and actually have friendly melodies and beats and stuff, they are right up there with the songs of today and with the songs of the great songwriters of time. And I think that another thing is that I started inserting the time and element on it so that I wouldn't die with the trend, because I started seeing that, the trendy sound can make it for a good song that lasts for a couple of months, but then it dies, and I don't want to be one of those artists that die with the trend of the song that they put out. I want my songs to be some sort of Off the Wall or Purple Rain-ish, or Emotion by Mariah Carey, those types of records, or any record by Ray Charles. I want it to be timeless, so I started inserting those elements too. So it's been a growing experience.
Yeah, I mean, you explained a little bit about, going to the studio for your first album versus, your second album. I mean, what was it like for you to go into the studio for the first time and start recording tracks? And was there any other things besides, obviously what we just talked about the, the ability to kind of be a little bit more free in terms of your, your songwriting and, being able to do that and translate it over. Besides that, I mean, did you learn a lot in between those two sessions, and what was it like the first time you got into the studio?
It was a realization, really. I didn't think about anything musical when I first went into a studio. I was 9, and the first thing I remember thinking is, wow, I really want to be here for a very long time. I want to spend a long time right here in this room. I was in the booth, and I loved it. And I wanted to have everything to do with the control room and the consoles and the screens, and I wanted to learn everything that I could. Now I don't like musical engineering as much, but at that first day that I went into the studio, I really did want to stay there for a long time. It was like a sense of belonging. Like, I'd never walked into a room where I really felt that I had to be in, especially because at that time I was just like going to school, and I never felt that comfort in school. Like, I never felt in school like I wanted to be there every day, and I never walked into my mother's office and said, I want to have an office like this one day. When I walked into the recording studio, I thought, I want to have one of these one day, and I want to spend a lot of time making whatever it is that I came here to make in the future. And so that was that. It was a realization of, I'm going to do music for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like I said, it's very interesting just to see that that was your passion early on as well, and to be able to stick with that for such a long time. Some people, at age 9, say they want to become a firefighter, or they want to become a policeman, or they want to become something else. They want, and then something happens along the way where they change their dream. And that's the beauty of childhood and adolescence, and the ability to do that as well. But just to be able to have that passion continue for as many long of years as it's been, I mean, it's just unbelievable to be able to say that. Just looking at your songwriting in itself, I mean. Is it usually that you come up with lyrics first and then you wait, you get a beat maybe from a producer or something like that, or is it producers sometimes give you the beats and you work on lyrics, or is it a combination of both?
It depends. I think every song is different because, for example, in the Irreplaceable album we have "Cry," which was a single also, and that song came about because I had a really good piano demo that I had recorded very long time ago with a friend, and I took it out. And when I was after I won the first 2 awards in the UK with the Pop This Jam single, my advisor here in LA told me that I needed to cross over to R&B and stop making dance pop records. And he said, if you're gonna do it, then this is the moment to do it. So I remember thinking, well, I've written a lot of songs for the girls that I like that are kind of R&B-ish, but I want to do something that's stronger for the audience, for real performance, because the records that I made for the girls were just like demos that weren't too strong, like musically speaking. So what I did was I took out a piano and I started building the arrangement, like in my home. I started setting in some drums, and a friend came over and recorded some like violins, like some synth violins and stuff. And so we made a beat. And then after we finished the beat, I didn't actually have a song. So I took out some lyrics and some recorded melodies that I have, and I started reading. And this was songs that I'd written in high school years back, and I took some pieces of them, and I said, like, the song as a whole doesn't work with this, so at this part they work, so I took them out and I started writing over that. So it's a different process every time. And for example, for Free Time, the second single of the album, well, the lead single of the album, it was different. I was just in my room, and I came out of my room. I was gonna look for some coffee, and I thought to myself, what is my neighbor doing? Because I used to date my neighbor, and what's she doing? I wonder what she's doing right now. Well, and I thought, well, I don't know what she does with her free time, but I definitely think about her in my free time. So that's how Free Time came about, and I started thinking, whoa, there's a song in there, and I thought, I don't know what to do with your free time, but I think about you, and that's how that hook came about. And from that hook, I started building the arrangement around that hook, and then after we had some like kind of demo-ish arrangement on it, I started writing the verses and the song and the song as a whole, to then finally produce it. And then there's the other way around, which you mentioned before, which is I meet a lot of producers all the time who tell me, hey, I got this demo beat, you want to use it and play around with it a little, and so they send me those beats, and I just start recording. I insert the beat into the program and start recording melodies and see what melodies work, and then after the melody is done, I write the lyrics. But I think in all those processes, the last thing that I do is the lyrics, because to me it's more important how you say things and what you're saying, but I try to make it a combination of both things. As in substance-wise, I try to make it a combination of both things, but it varies from song to song. It's different, and I don't like to be close, because I've met a lot of songwriters that say, well, this is my formula, and this is how I do it, and if it's not done this way, then it doesn't work for me. And I don't really believe in that. I believe that every time you write a song, you are doing a new experiment, and you're learning a new thing, and you should be open to anything, and that makes you more versatile as an artist, because you're not always going to work with the same producers. I mean, I've worked with my head producer for 10 years, but I'm going to work eventually with new people, so I got to be open to many ways. My way is not